support this country anymore. The statistic can say some stuff, but I feel different things. I'm not treated like a migrant and I don't feel like a migrant there. I'm the German there.
In the summer of 2025, multiple news outlets all reported the same trend: German citizens migrating to Hungary. Almost 4,000 Germans relocate to Hungary each year, way more than a few years ago. But who actually are these Germans? And why are they ending up in Hungary? We meet Marvin. He's 20 now, but he emigrated at just 16. During our shoot, it became clear that his hometown and his mother play pivotal roles in his story. And his mom was actually supposed to appear in this film.
Yeah, so my mom isn't here today because she's basically, she likes to stay on her own. She likes to have her thoughts private because some people might disagree with her.
Let's take it from the top. Reports have shown that many of these Germans are older and have pretty negative views about safety and migration in Germany. And Marvin shares many of these views. Literally. He shares actively on social media. But still, why did Marvin leave Germany at such a young age? And why was Hungary so much more appealing than Germany? Well, to find out, we paid Marvin a visit in Budapest.
Hello.
Hey Marvin, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Marvin.
To meet you.
So my life in Hungary is pretty exciting because I moved here when I was 16.
That's very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was possible because of my brother. I moved here with him. We told our mom after 1 month we are gonna come back, and we didn't. She was a bit sad, but she was expecting it. And we stayed because we felt home here. It was really friendly, really safe, and you have a lot of options here. Nobody really annoys you like in Germany. All these rules which are very strict.
Are you in contact with Hungarians in your daily life here?
I'm mostly in contact with my German friends, but also a lot with Hungarians because I have Hungarian friends. I don't meet them every day, but also in the gym.
And do you speak Hungarian?
I can catch some words and put them together in my mind so I understand what they are talking about, but I can't speak the language. And if I live here longer, I will definitely consider to learn the language. I think that's respect for the country, and I think you should do that where you live.
Freedom and security matter deeply to Marvin. Hungary ranks among the top 20 countries in the Global Peace Index and is considered a very safe country, even though crime rates rose in 2024, especially for acts of sexual and domestic violence. And since Marvin mentioned freedom, we should point out that NGOs and international media have reported restrictions on protest and on the press, as well as on the rights of the queer community. Marvin's love for Hungary and his frustration with Germany are clearly evident in his social media videos.
I'm just really glad to live here, life in peace. You can just walk around on the street without having any fear of getting stabbed or robbed.
But what exactly does Marvin mean when he says he's annoyed with Germany? During our interview at his home, it becomes clear. It's about far more than just rules and regulations.
I moved here because I like the values here. I like the tradition here. For example, here in Hungary, you have the Hungarian flags everywhere. In Germany, the German flag, when you use it, when you put it in your garden, you're called a Nazi, and I think it just took over too much, this insanity.
A YouGov study showed that about 43% of Germans feel neutral or negative about the national flag, but over half have somewhat positive feelings towards it. Another survey found that 1 in 3 Germans displays the national flag publicly. At sporting events, that number rises to 2/3. For half of those surveyed, the reason for displaying the flag is out of national pride.
What do you think about the German politics?
So it's an interesting topic. I follow it a bit, what my mom tells me, for example. But I think overall there's no one really understanding what you really want, what the Germans really want.
So what do Germans really want?
So for me, okay, if I would need something to move back to Germany, to live the life there I would want to live, so it would definitely need to be stricter. You can't commit a crime without being punished. That's a case which is happening.
What makes you feel that way?
Because when something happens, when girls get raped, for example, it's not a big topic which stays in the media. It's just happening and then the news is over and nothing really happened. It happens again and again and again and nothing really happens. So these are the things
Okay.
which annoy me.
So if you then have a look at statistics about when women are not safe, we probably would have to talk about domestic violence as well, because this is actually the biggest threat for women in Germany and I think in Hungary as well.
I think that's two completely different topics because you could have prevented if there were made better decisions.
How could have that been prevented, in your opinion?
I think when a country stays the same, when a country stays Germany, for example, or when a country stays Hungary, for example.
Marvin's not really talking about safety anymore. He's talking about migration. So let's take a proper look at the numbers. The latest stats show that violence against women is indeed increasing in Germany. That includes domestic violence, human trafficking, online abuse, and sexual violence. For some crimes, such as pimping or offenses committed by groups, the proportion of immigrant suspects is higher than that of German nationals. At the same time, a new report by the Federal Criminal Police Office shows that, overall, the number of migrant suspects has declined over the past year, including in cases of sexual offenses. On the other hand, crimes against life, such as murder or negligent homicide, have increased among immigrants. But why that is a subject of fierce debate among experts. One study from the Leibniz Institute suggests that these figures are predominantly down to location-specific factors. For example, that more densely populated urban areas have higher crime rates. But even though every crime in Germany must be prosecuted, around 38% of Germans are concerned about crime rates. That's despite the fact that the country ranks among the top 20 safest in the world.
I mean, if you look at statistics in general over the decades of how it developed in Germany, you couldn't say that it's like super unsafe right now.
I think different because I know what my mom experiences, I know what I get told, and I know what I experience here. So my experiences are for me more important than what statistics say or what statistics say, because I experience it very different. Germany is gonna be changed anyway. It's not gonna have any culture anymore. It's gonna have the culture of Afghanistan soon. That's what I think.
What Marvin is saying follows the right-wing populist narrative of the Great Replacement. This theory claims that the German people, who are perceived as white, homogenous, and Christian, are being systematically replaced by migrants. In social science, this is considered disproved and functions according to an us-against-them principle. It sets up a story of an enemy to provide simple answers to complex societal questions. And in doing so, it stirs up fear, an emotion that has profound impacts on people's sense of security. It's now 2 weeks later. We meet Marvin again, this time in the village where he grew up. Population under 2,000. Marvin's here to visit his family. In our conversations in Budapest, he had often mentioned his mother, especially when discussing his political views. That's why we had planned to film at their home, together with her and the rest of the family. But after much planning, the family declined. Instead, we met him on the street in his hometown and took a walk through the places of his childhood.
And what was it like for you to grow up in a village?
So everyone basically knows each other here. Nowadays, everyone is a bit for themselves. So back then, like 5-10 years ago, I knew everyone, and when it was summer, everyone was greeting everyone. It was a really nice feeling. But now it's a bit closed more. Everyone is a bit more closed. I felt like that after like COVID. So the first 2-3 years here were really chill, cool, if I remember right. And the last 2 years I was just coming here because I had to. And then at 15 the COVID came. I went to homeschooling for a year, and then I didn't really have anything to do with the school. I dropped out when I was 16.
Can you tell me about your time in COVID?
We realized that most of it people are stupid and That was a big factor for me to not be surrounded by them, and that's why I wanted to live in a bigger city where I can surround myself with people who think like me. Especially the teachers in my school were following the rules without thinking.
Time for a recap. In March 2020, Germany announced the first school closures due to COVID, and studies indicated that shuttering the schools did indeed limit the spread of the virus. But studies show another story as well. Research has revealed that these closures were deeply challenging for children and adolescents. For many weeks, they only had contact with close family and barely any opportunities to socialize with their peers. This period had negative impacts on many young people's mental health. And since then, gaps in educational outcomes have also emerged. We wanted to find out how Marvin was personally affected during COVID.
So my experience was that I was stuck at home. I couldn't even go out at night, and it's for me it's crazy that people stay inside because the government tells you to stay inside after 10 p.m. That made me realize that's not where I want to live with people who follow these kind of rules. And it's not as bad as it is shown.
Many people died during COVID, right? Because of COVID.
That can be possible. I never heard from anyone dying because of COVID, so it didn't affect me, and it didn't affect anyone in my surroundings. It's not a reality for me that anyone died of it because I didn't experience it. I don't know about it. It's the same for the immigrant topic. Like the statistic can say some stuff, but I feel different things. I experience different things. Yeah.
And you told me that safety is an issue here, right? I mean, we walked around a little, I don't know it as well as you do. I felt not unsafe, to be honest. And I felt people were greeting, saying hi. So why do you feel it's unsafe here?
Not here. When you go to the train station or to a slightly bigger city nearby, to a train station, you will feel pretty unsafe after it gets dark.
What have you experienced that made you feel that way?
Especially during the weekdays, working days, when you go on the train, there's a lot of 30-year-old immigrants where you just don't wanna be surrounded by them. Especially, I think for girls, it's really bad. Just how they look at you, not that they do anything to you, but just how they look at you, how they are presenting themselves. Yeah.
So nothing happened really. It's just a feeling that you have. You are a migrant in Hungary, right? I mean, we talked about that earlier, right?
We talked about that, but I'm not treated like a migrant, and I don't feel like a migrant there. I'm the German there. That's it.
But just the definition of the word meaning someone moving somewhere else, right? So just taking the definition would mean you are a migrant, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
Why are you not?
Because nobody sees me as a migrant there. I'm the German there, and Germans and Hungarians get along pretty well. And in Hungary, the people learn German, so
just the definition would be the same. So what makes you different?
What makes me different is just that I'm the same as them. And the people who migrate to Germany are mostly not the same as the Germans.
Can you imagine living in the big, moving back one day?
I can't imagine it, no. I can't imagine moving back here to Germany.
The sense of security in Germany is important to many people, not just Marvin, and not just those immigrating to Hungary. And since COVID, this narrative has only grown, perhaps especially for the people who felt neglected during this difficult time. For Marvin, Hungary feels safer and freer than Germany. For others, it may be the opposite. And ultimately, despite all the facts and figures, a sense of security remains deeply personal.